Fear not, citizens. Justice will be served. You're in good hands.
The defense is wrong.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hello. Hi, everybody. So, I don't know why I'm so nervous about this live, but I am. I'm really nervous about it. I've got something I want to read. And when I went through it and read it to myself, I nearly freaking cried. So I'm going to go off camera when I read it, just in case. Oh my God, I started blubbering. Anyways, hey, Fashion Mullet. Hey, Aurora. Good to see you. But we're not going to get into Timothy Ferguson right away because I do have an update. Aw, thank you. You're so pretty, Kel. So some of you know the Naziah Harris case and who Jarvis Butts is. And Trial Junkies United did a great live the other night about it. She was very detailed. She's a great... Hey, Matt, good to see you. Good to see you. She's a great storyteller. She goes into a lot of detail. If one of the mods can drop her link, it's Trial Junkies. I'm going to do these updates because, hey, Frank, basically what happened is this fucking... I don't even have words for what he is. Monster, demon. I'm going to call him a demon. Hello, I cannot read that name, but hello, welcome. He basically groomed and unalived Naziah Harris. She was a young girl in her teens, and she has still not been found. So he took a plea deal, and he was sentenced. Not 2 weeks into his sentence, we find out that he took his life. And we don't know where Naziah Harris is. Now, I found out, and this is what I'm about to play. Why am I so dark? I got to get a new camera. I talked to my husband about it. We're going to get a new camera. Apparently, a part of his plea deal was to give the location of Naziah Harris. I did not know that because I was pissed. I was all like, this is bullshit. I can't believe he did this. We're never going to get justice for Naziah. We're never going to find her. Her family... I've got thoughts about her family too, but we're not here to bash anybody. Hi, Sana. So, yeah, I thought, and Z and, a lot of us thought, we might not find her. But turns out he might have told authorities where she is and they might be investigating it. So what I'm going to do is play these videos, these news clips first. Oh my God. Okay. I was about to say that cannot be the right folder. Is that still the right folder? Yes. Okay. So we're going to start with these. And if everybody can hit that like button and share this out if you don't mind, and sub if you're not subbed. We're going to do these, and then Frank, I've got some snacks. I know you want to hear about that bacon jerky. So, let's get through these 2 news clips, and then we're going to try some snacks. All right, hold on. So,
Our big story at 5, Jarvis Butts, the man convicted of killing 13-year-old Neziah Harris and sexually assaulting her and other girls.
Can you guys hear that? Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear that.
Is dead after weeks after being sentenced. His body found at a prison intake center in Jackson. Fox News' Lauren Edwards is live in Detroit with reaction tonight. Lauren.
Rube, just as you said, Jarvis Butts was found dead, and this happening 2 weeks after he was sentenced for killing Neziah Harris. And just the location of her body is basically, at this point, it's a bit of a mystery. Detroit police are on it, but let's get into all the details because there is so much that you need to know. Now, this is the Charles Egler Reception and Guidance Center in Jackson. It's a prison intake center where the Michigan Department of Correction confirms that Jarvis Butts' body was found 2 weeks ago. 43-year-old Butts was sentenced in the murder of 13-year-old Neziah Harris, sentenced to 35 to 60 years. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, and as a part of the plea deal, he was supposed to provide information as to where her body was. And
Now, see, I didn't know that. I just thought that he pled guilty and that he got sentenced, and that was that. I didn't realize that they had put a deal on the table and that he said something. Now, I don't know if there was like, okay, you talk now before the sentencing, or we're going to schedule a time where we come in and talk to you about it after the sentencing, and he unalived himself before that. So I'm still not sure whether or not we have a location. Hi, Daria. Good to see you.
Wayne County Prosecutor's Office says he did exactly that. Harris was last seen in January 2024, and prosecutors say she met up with Butts the day that she disappeared, and she was pregnant. Allegedly, Butts, the father of that child. And fast forward Thursday, MDOC says he took his own life. MDOC says
KOS, coward. Look at him. I was going to get into this case, and I don't know if I still am now. I just don't know what I want to do with it anymore because of what's happened now. But if you look back at all the hearings and the sentencing and all of that, his head is just down. It's just down like this. He's such a freaking coward. I would have thought they would have made him tell before officially. That's what I thought too. That in a plea deal like that, before you even send him back, before you make the deal, before you go into court, you should already have the location. And that's in, I believe, any case. If there's going to be a plea deal, I don't believe in these child unalivings that these people should get plea deals in general, unless they're giving a location.
the staff tried to save his life but were unsuccessful. Fox 2 spoke with Harris's cousin Roxy, who was out of town, about what happened and the concerns the family still has.
We ultimately, want to still know where she is because we still don't have those answers. We just want to lay her to rest and things like that. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, and him doing, deciding to take his own life was unexpected, literally 2 weeks after the sentencing.
I was a little shocked, but not really. Because in cases like this, they either do something like this or someone else gets them. that prison justice. I'm just surprised it happened so soon. Like that. That was quick. That was really quick. I hate the plea deal game. I know it's necessary sometimes, but it's not justice. No, it's not. It's not. I feel like it's just an easy way out. It's just like, yeah, okay, I'll plead guilty. Take me to my cell, take me to my cage, whatever.
Um, he made his bed, he got to lay in it. I think it was a bit of a cowardly way out. But he made his bed, so he has.
Look at her. She's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. And what I'm going to say about her family, and the reason I said I've got opinions about her family, is that if you go back and look at Z's live, Trial Junkies United, Vic, speaking of which, I was just talking about you. Hi, Z. She made it. This lady right here does a fantastic job. But she had mentioned that this family, they didn't take care of this girl, and they knew about this man. They knew what he was capable of, and to me, I feel like they were jealous of this girl. They were all fighting over this man. They knew that this girl was at his shop. They knew everything that was going on, and they didn't do anything to protect her. Not only did she have to go to him to get that pregnancy test, but she has also gone to him to get lady things, if you know what I mean, like monthly lady things, because she couldn't even get them from the women that were living in the same house as her. It's sad. It's really sad.
Laying it.
So again, the prosecutor's office saying that Butts did provide information, and then she referred us over to Detroit Police Department, and we spoke with DPD, and they say that they are investigating, they are searching for her body, and that they are looking into every lead. Please stick with Fox 2 as this continues to develop. Reporting live here in Detroit, Lauren Edwards, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, Lauren, I know that obviously people who are being transported are being supervised. Any idea as to if this happened at a time that he just wasn't being watched, or any of those details?
Ruth, there's so many questions as to exactly how this all unfolded. Those are questions that I have, that you have, that we hope to get answers about, when and how all this exactly happened. So all I can say at this time is that please continue to stick with us. As I get these updates, I will be delivering them.
Lauren.
All right. So there's the first update. So, like she said, apparently he did give a location to where she's at, and they're investigating it. Whether or not they, when the women talk about Nasiah, they have this look in their faces. It was jealousy, and I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. They were fighting over this disgusting, I wouldn't even call him a man. Ugh. Z, I told you how I feel about this case. They were fighting over him, and they were jealous of this little girl, and it's so sick. They did not protect her. She got pregnant by this man. But like I said, hopefully they find something. They said he said something about a river. And I've seen people speculate online. They're saying, well, if it's a river, she'll never be found. Da, 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 da. That's not true. That's not true at all. I have seen, and I know how people feel about Adventures with Purpose, and, we all know what happened, and I have my own feelings as well. But I've watched a lot of their videos, and I've watched a lot of other channels like them that do a lot of those sonar things, and they have found so many people underwater. They found cars underwater. She can be located. She can be found. It's not an it's not possible. So I have faith. I have faith. If he gave the right location. He could have just bullshitted him. So I don't know. We'll see. Here's the second video of that.
You threw her in the river is not good enough.
It's a bittersweet moment. However, for us, it's sweet, and I'm sure for his family, it's bitter.
Strong reactions from a local activist and the family of Neziah Harris after the shocking news that her killer took his own life in prison. Jarvis Butts was found dead in his prison cell today, just 2 weeks ago after he was sentenced for killing Neziah. Her body was never found, and the chance of that now dwindling with his death. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack joins us live in our newsroom with the latest twist in this tragic case. Jess.
Proof Jarvis Butts was still getting processed through the Michigan prison system when this all happened. His body was found right around 6:30 this morning. Michigan State Police brought in to investigate. It is being called a suicide at this point. Now, just 2 weeks ago, part of that plea agreement in court was that Jarvis Butts would reveal once and for all where he dumped Neziah Harris's body. But unfortunately, family very discouraged they'll ever find it now that he's gone.
I think it was a bit of a cowardly way out, but he made his bed, so he has to lay in it.
No tears from the family of Neziah Harris upon learning convicted.
And I'm sorry if I missed anybody's comments. Again, I've got to say it because people like to go off. They're not here, but they like to go off. I am not ignoring you. I promise. If I miss a comment, rewrite it or just put a bunch of crazy emojis in there to let me see. I promise I'm not ignoring you.
Serial child rapist and murderer Jarvis Butts was found dead in his jail cell Thursday in a Jackson, Michigan prison. The Michigan Department of Corrections tells us his death is being reported as a suicide.
I feel like we still didn't get answers for Neziah. I feel like there were a lot of unanswered questions still about the case.
Like where her body is. Part of Butts' plea was that he had to reveal where he dumped Neziah's body that winter day back in 2024 after she got off the school bus. She was believed to be pregnant with his child.
Just saying you threw her in the river is not good enough. With the plea, you give us something, we give you this. And we didn't get that. And the community is very angry about that.
Community activist Tamara Liberty Smith on this case.
No, never mind. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. Yeah, Daria, I really hope he didn't either. I hope that in the end, he had some kind of conscience and he said, you know what, I'm gonna just tell them where they are and I can't live with this anymore. So he decided to end things. I don't know. It's a really sad case. Hello and hello. So thank you all for being here. Chatters, lurkers, haters, all of you. You're all welcome. Thank you.
Since the beginning, saying there's a trail of trauma left behind by Butts. His history of raping children spans more than a decade. As young as 4 years old, even his own family.
Hopefully that all victims can get the resources and the help that's needed so that chain will be broken and this demonic force does not continue.
Forensic evidence did link Neziah's body to the Rouge River right around 7 Mile in Detroit. But again, her remains were never found. Detroit police releasing a statement today saying they will continue looking for her. Reporting in the newsroom, Jessica Dupnack on the.
All right. So remove. If they are going to give these sick plea deals, they need to make them give allocation statement out loud at the sentencing. No more sitting and hiding behind the mask. Yeah, I could not agree with that more. I am so sick of people being able to hide. And the perfect example of that, Adam Montgomery. That monster right there didn't show up to not one day of his trial. He didn't even show up. He didn't hide his face. He didn't put his face down. He didn't even show up. Like, how is that okay? I think that you should be like, it should be like, you should be obligated, like, you gotta go. Like, no ifs, ands, buts about it, you gotta go. Like, this is your trial, you gotta be there. You can't just, you know what? Y'all take care of it. I'm not gonna go. I'm good. And then he's got the audacity to ask for a new trial. You know what? I bought this. Order in the court. No, sir. If he gets a new trial, I'm a riot. I can't stand him. Sorry. I'm reading your comments. Hold on. It wasn't he couldn't live with what he did. He couldn't live with the fact everyone knew. Nope. You were absolutely right. If you don't show them you were guilty, yeah. Make them give some explanation. I'm so over these cowards. Yep. Absolutely. All you guys. All you guys. All right. So, before we get into the heavy stuff, before I cry, because what I've got to read out loud is going to make me cry, because we're going to get into the Timothy Ferguson thing. He couldn't live with yeah. All right, Frank, are you ready? Are you ready for this? You ready? So, you guys, last time I had a whole basket of snacks, and this time I've got a whole crate of snacks and drinks, but I'm going to do them like every week. I'm going to do a couple every week. And I picked out, what the fuck is this? I don't know what that was. I picked out a couple things we're going to try, but I do have an entire, yes, my crate is pink, crate of snacks. So, you move my gavel. Are y'all ready? I've got Hello Kitty and Friends pink cookie dough. I know Frank's excited about this. I've got some kind of bacon jerky. And I really wanted to get this because for some reason it feels like bacon. And I've never seen that before. I know, Frank. He's so excited for this. And I know these are going to be a winner. All my pickle flavored shit last week was disgusting. Pink crate and pink cookie dough. That's right. I know these are going to be a winner. These cannot be a failure. I found Takis pickle flavor. I already know. And I don't know what we're going to pick for a drink yet, but I've got a little fridge over here. So, let's see. We're going to go with the Bob Ross. It's a positive energy drink. So we're going to go with that. No problem, you guys. You're good. I'm going to try these, and then that is the tiniest fridge ever. Yeah, it's in my room. This is like my office room collectors, all my antique vintage stuff I collect. So let's get into this. drink first. I was so excited about this Bob Ross drink. Look at his little face. I was a Bob Ross fan when I was a kid. I've actually been to his little store museum when I was in Florida. All right, let's see this. Cheers. That's good. I think it's raspberry. That's good. You know, like 8 out of 10. All right, Frank, let's do this. I don't need scissors this week so far. You need a snack. Vic, I've got plenty. Uh-oh. I might need scissors. Where are my scissors? I'll just put this in a Ziploc bag later. Make sure you use a little yellow on your painting. Yeah. I would watch hours and hours of Bob Ross. This better be bacon. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, it smells good. It is. It's bacon. It's crushed, but it's bacon. It's bacon. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So it's old-fashioned maple. It's gluten-free. I don't really care. Whatever. I love you, bacon. That's good. 10 out of 10. It looks like bacon strips for your puppy. It probably is. I couldn't eat a bunch of that at once, so it's sweet. I'm not a huge fan of sweets. It's got to be the right time of day, if you know what I mean. All right. 2 more things, and then we're going to get on to it. You know what? I should leave the pickle thing for last. Hello Kitty cookie dough. It's pink. See if I could open this without scissors. Smell test. That smells very pink. If pink had a smell, that's what it would smell like. Wow. Wow. You know that cookie dough that they came out with for the movie theaters? Pink has a smell. It does, apparently. Y'all know that, back to the bacon. That cookie dough that you would get at Blockbuster, and it came out at the theaters, like you would get it at the theaters. I don't know what it was. It was just called cookie dough. That's kind of what this tastes like, but it's strawberry. All right. Give it like 4 out of 10. It's sweet. All right, last thing. And I know that these are gonna hit. I know these are gonna be good. Get into it. So excited. I like their I think it's their guacamole or avocado ones. Yep. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Oh, so good. Where's Jinx? Where's my friend? Frank, where's Jinx? All right. That was it. Oh, that was delicious. But there's that. But did you guys like my mini dabble? I thought it was going to be smaller than this, but it's not. It's big. Yeah, anyways. I feel like Judge Judy now. It's amazing. Okay, I thought maybe she was still doing that. I thought so. Well, all right, guys. Why is this not going down? Okay, there we go. All right. Let me grab my tablet. Thank you. I thought it would be funny because I'm always pissed off at stuff. You guys, enough. Stop it. Hold on. Here. Go do something. Thank you. Let me grab my tablet and then I'm going to read this and we're going to get into it. Play the keyboard. I don't know how to play the keyboard, but I have one. It's fun to just. Okay, I'm going to take myself off screen and put this little baby on screen while I read this. Could you guys still hear me or no? Do I need to be on the stage? You know what? I'll just turn my cam off. Can I do that? How do I turn my cam off? Okay, there we go. All right. Can you guys still hear me now? Yes. Okay. So, thank you. All right. So, Timothy Ferguson, William Makepeace Thackeray, a quote from him said, "Mother is the name for God in the lips and hearts of little children. And for every child, their mother is often perceived as their first deity, the source of nourishment, protection, and love. But what happens when this sacred bond is shattered? What if the one who was meant to be your first God forsakes you and makes you question the foundations of your belief in what love is and your purpose in life? As seemingly your mere existence has driven her to commit unspeakable acts against you. They say that every child deserves a parent, and while that is true, today's case exemplifies while every parent doesn't deserve a child." Turn this back on. So, yeah, that's really hard to read. Big trigger warning. This is not going to be an easy case. This case is heart-shattering. It's hard. This case is dark. The details are going to be brutal. This case will upset you. I want to extend trigger warnings for child abuse, physical and mental and emotional abuse, neglect, and starvation. If you are not in the headspace, please leave at any time. I will not be offended. it's important to talk about these difficult cases because it can be hard to listen, but in cases of child abuse, it's important that we call them out so people know the signs better. This could be happening to someone you know right now. So basically, I wanted to start off what we're going to do is this episode is going to be basically about Timothy, sorry. Because the rest is a lot of bullshit, and it's a lot about Shonda, and it's a lot about Paul, her other son. She's very narcissistic, and there's so little information about this young baby. There's a lot of information about what happened to him, but there's not a lot of information about him, his likes, what his activities, things of that nature. So much so that we don't even have a birthday. There's no birthday on record for this baby. We know from the age of when he was unalived, basically, he was 15. So I'm guessing that he was born in August between 2006, 2007. What I do know about him is that he was sweet and caring. And when he was 5 years old, he was diagnosed with autism, ADHD, bipolar, speech impairment, motor impairment, sensory processing disorder. And while his diagnoses is vast, no one described them as being debilitating or rendering him incapable in some way. Everybody said that he was very high functioning. Why do parents adopt? Why do you think parents don't turn to adoption violence? I don't know. So, there are, like I said, very few things about this young man. His likes, interests, maybe favorite food, colors, things of that nature. But from what I've gathered, and yeah, narcissism, absolutely, fear, pride, ego. I'm guessing that this little boy I'm seeing in this picture, that he liked Thomas the Train, so he might have liked trains. I'll show you some more pictures. Let me grab a couple other ones. This is when he was a little bit older. It seems like he liked being outside. It seems like he liked camping and fishing. I heard that he liked Legos, so he probably liked building things with Legos. I really don't like that there's no information about this child. So, I'm gonna play a video that kind of is why we're getting into this, and then I'm gonna play a video that kind of covers what's going on in this case. But this is just the beginning of a long series of what I'm gonna do. We are gonna go back and go through the original trial. We're gonna go back to body cam footage. We're going to go back to interrogations. We're going to go back through new hearings. or sentencing, we're going to go over the 2 new hearings because she's decided that she wants a new trial. And she's blaming everything that happened to Timothy on Timothy. She had nothing to do with anything that happened to Timothy. And it's very disturbing. If I'm stuttering a little bit, it's because I'm very nervous to cover this case. I care about it a lot. It means a lot to me. I usually don't harp on cases that have already been solved and, they're kind of, taken care of. It's done and over with. But because she asked for a new trial, this opens the door for me to bring it all back out and discuss it. I have made a tiny little tribute video. It's just a couple pictures and music of Timothy. It's not very long. It's like seconds long. That way I don't have to do all the pictures individually. So I'm going to play this. Let me And those are literally, oops. Oh my God, what did I do? Jeez Louise, I am hitting buttons over here. Those are literally all the pictures that we have of him as well. So, no birthday, no information about this kid, and very limited pictures. And those I took off of findagrave.com. So that's saying a lot. I had to really dig just to find this stuff. So that, unfortunately, I really wanted to focus on Timothy today, but that's all I have. So it's such a shame. Yeah. And such a beautiful child. And thank you guys. Thank you for caring. Helps with this stuff. Glad you're doing this. I didn't follow this case. I only know what I heard of the hearings and didn't like it. Yeah. So, and a lot of people, they either couldn't deal with it or they didn't hear of it because I think, was it Frank, me and you were talking about how, like, it got a lot of news coverage at first, and then all of great job. And then all of a sudden it just dropped off. And that was it. And this child deserves so much more. and I really love the judge in this. So there's going to be tons of hours of footage. This is going to take a long time to get through, but we're not going to do it in one day, 2 days, 3 days. We're going to do it little by little. I'm not going to make you guys sit through hours of stuff. We're going to do maybe an hour and a half per live. Very popular for a bit, then dropped off. Yeah, exactly. So that's my plan. That's my plan because I want to go through everything all over again. And then maybe by the time we are done, we might have a decision from the judge on whether or not she's going to get a new trial. We might even get one before then. But let's get into this if some of you don't know what this case is. And all right, actually, we're going to start with this. This is I think this is the two prosecutors, and this is about the hearing for the new trial.
The most tragic part for me, and the thing that resonates and will probably resonate forever with me, is that this was a 15-year-old boy, and for whatever deficits he might have had or difficulties that he had, he still was a human being of 15 who understood on some level what was happening to himself, that he was...
Absolutely. He knew what was going on. He knew that he wasn't being treated right. He knew that he was being abused. And he also, had a bunch of stuff going on with it within his self. So not only is he dealing with his own things, he's now dealing with the things other people are putting upon him.
Was being denied these basic necessities, the food and the water and frankly just love and nurturing, and being denied those things and feeling himself slipping away to the point of death. And the people that were supposed to be protecting him, the people that were supposed to be providing for him and giving him those comforts, were the very people that were inflicting these punishments upon him. And that's just absolutely heartbreaking to deal with.
We did have a meeting in chambers ahead of this, so I sort of could see what the writing on the wall was going to be, at least as it relates to the defense getting an evidentiary hearing down the road as it relates to the claims of ineffective assistance of counsel. If we're talking about the competency ruling, I'm not surprised by the court's ruling because I don't think that, looking at the evidence and the record, I don't think there's another viable option for the court to make because there was no bona fide doubt as to whether she was incompetent.
I would agree, and certainly...
She's totally competent. She passed the bar. A lot of people don't know this, but she went to law school. She knows exactly what she's doing in that courtroom. She passed the bar. She's not incompetent. She's not stupid. She's perfectly fine.
The history of the case, as the judge pointed out here, demonstrates that whenever things turned towards bad things for Shonda, whenever there was a development that didn't go in her favor, and certainly after the cross-examination, and as the judge pointed out at the preliminary examination, sort of made the same effort as the co-defendant was about to testify. It's just when things turn bad for Ms. Van Ark that she conveniently gets these moments where she just can't focus and she's mentally not able to be there. And that is really not the same thing as what criminal competency is, and that came through in the judge's ruling. That competency is a different standard. It's one that you suffer from a mental illness or mental defect, and as a result of that, you can't participate in your defense and understand the nature of the proceedings against you. And we can't lose sight of the fact that Ms. Van Ark is, for all intents and purposes, or at that time, was a lawyer. She had passed the bar. She had graduated from law school. She was waiting for to be licensed as an attorney. So certainly that doesn't necessarily hold her to a higher standard, but it certainly demonstrates that she has a greater understanding of the legal proceedings than just your average person. It's really not uncommon in cases where there is a claim of ineffective assistance of counsel. In other words, the defendant saying that they were denied effective representation at the trial. It's not unusual.
Her attorney was just fine. I don't know if you guys have actually watched the entire thing. She's ridiculous. Hey, girl. Hey, PJ. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm just actually getting started on this. We were trying some snacks, and I had to go over some updates on the Jarvis Butt's case, so we are just now getting started. You're not missing too much.
For the judge to want that record to be developed, and that's what is going to take place at a later time. It's called a Ginther hearing that relates back to the case in Michigan that sets forth the procedure for the court to follow. So we will come back at that time, and our anticipation is that once the record is fully developed, that the court will see that there's no genuine issue there either, that Mr. Johnson's representation of Ms. Vander Ark was appropriate, that she received effective representation.
And it was. It was. And we're going to go back and watch the trial, like I said, and y'all will see it was perfectly fine.
The issues specifically that the judge raised, we think we are going to be able to counter with Mr. Johnson's testimony. So it's not at all unusual for this procedure to take place.
Going forward, typically when I handle these type of Ginther hearings, I will meet with the defense trial counsel, so Mr. Johnson in this case, sit down, discuss the claims that are being levied by the defendant to just see what the veracity of those are. I then also routinely look for corroborating evidence of either statement to see, because typically we have a defendant versus their counsel and whose story lines up with what the evidence is. So that's natural, I think, as a preparation tactic for any hearing, is to see what evidence you have and then prepare it and address for each of the claims that they have. So with it, I'll be looking at other competency evaluations that have been done but might not have been before Judge Casel when he made his determination. I have already, in anticipation of this, tried to work with the jail to see if there's any body cameras or video footage to support any of these claims, things like that. So looking for Mr. Johnson's word, as well as anything else out there that might assist.
Once that claim is filed, that ineffective assistance of counsel claim by the defendant, that effectively waives attorney-client privilege. So we are able to have those.
Yes. So we're also going to be watching Paul Ferguson's trial. We're going to be watching his body cams. Like I said, we're going to go through it all. We're going to be watching his sentencing. He actually testifies against Shonda, so we're going to be watching that. We're going to be watching the impact statements of her other son and daughter that were not involved. So the other brother, the older brother, actually assisted Shonda. She basically told him everything to do to Timothy. Now, it's a very unpopular opinion, but I kind of feel, now mind you, he is grown. He does have a mind of his own. He knows right from wrong. He is capable of getting help and saying no. But when you're a child of a narcissist and you've been groomed and you're also a victim and things have probably happened to you, I feel, and also I feel that he's got some mental things going on as well. I partly feel like Paul Ferguson was also a victim of Shonda. I'm not excusing what he did to his brother at all. At all. But I partly feel that he was also a victim in a way.
Discussions, as Heather was indicating, discussions with Mr. Johnson about trial strategy, about areas that would otherwise we'd not be privy to. But once you claim that your counsel was not effective, it opens the door for the prosecution then to be able to have those conversations and in fact present the outcome of those discussions in open court.
Since this case was at a trial level, I was assisting as needed with Mr. Roberts, and so I was aware of the evidence and things like that had been presented before the court.
Yeah, Mark and Frank. He was absolutely a little, and I'm not trying to say this to be offending or offensive, but he did seem a little slow, like maybe he had some of his own. I mean, it could be a possibility. And the fact that he was under her control, he was under her thumb. If she was capable of doing this to Timothy, imagine the threats, the emotional abuse that she was putting onto Paul. We didn't get to hear any of that. That was never brought into court, and nor would it have ever been brought into court. But I believe that there was a lot of manipulation, brainwashing, like all of that there. So, and you'll see footage of Paul saying, I tried to sneak him food. So he knew that it was wrong, and at times he would try to help him, but he knew that he would also be punished by Shonda if he did that.
And I will say that this case is one that I don't think will ever leave me. The haunting nature of it and just the sheer depravity. So we as prosecutors try to compartmentalize a lot of things in life, but I don't think this case is one that I will unfortunately ever be able to forget.
All right. So that right there is the reason that I'm starting this up. That right there has opened the door for me to bring all this to light. Now I'm going to show this. This is pretty much a compilation of all of it. And then after this, next week is going to be the beginning. I'm going to start from the very beginning. Yeah, Vic. And I've said this before, and people are like, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And it was a very unpopular opinion. That's why I said that. So I'm surprised all of you guys are agreeing with me. So yeah, like I said, this video is kind of a compilation of everything. But next week, we're going to start from the very beginning, and it's going to be a while. So hopefully you guys stick it out. Timothy deserves justice. He deserves to be seen and heard. He does not have a voice, so I'm going to be his voice. You guys can be his voice. Let's go. And trigger warning. Trigger warning. Like I said in the beginning of this is a massive trigger warning.
This was kind of fishy, Pauls. That's what I hear. He looks like he's 50 pounds. What did he say, 15 days more, sir? That's more than 15 days. Handcuffs here. It's like a webcam right there. I didn't even notice that. Hot sauce? Dude, what the hell? Yeah, in the freezer. It's a box. Just to get in. This is everything in there is weird. There's webcams all over the place in the basement.
So I want to go back and show you guys something really quick, if it showed it. All right, you see this bunk bed? Where'd it go? Let me see it. So this bunk bed, you see how this top railing?
That's what I hear. He looks like he's 50 pounds. What is?
So they say he's 50 pounds, right?
Say 15 days more, sir? That's more than 15 days.
All right. So you see this bunk bed, how it has a railing all the way around it. If you are so weak and you're 50 pounds, you're a 15-year-old boy, Shonda claimed that he fell from the top bunk, and that's how he was unalived. No way. No way. Absolutely not. What'd he do? Flip himself over? There's no way. And she couldn't have been talking about the bottom, because he would have just rolled off. He wouldn't have deceased. He wouldn't have, it doesn't make sense. So I'm not buying it. There's no way. There's a railing across that whole top of that bed. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, this is a lot. He needs He needs a voice. He needs to be heard.
Cuffs here. It's like a webcam right there. I didn't even notice that. Pasos? What the hell? Yeah, in the freezer. It's a box. Stick it in. This is everything in there.
That was a closet with a tarp and some kind of little box. That's where he was sleeping. They forced him to sleep there. So I guess I don't know if he was sleeping in the bed sometimes too, but that's why I also don't buy that he fell off the bunk bed, because he wasn't sleeping in the bed. They were forcing him to sleep in the closet with that tarp.
There's webcams all over the place in the basement. If you go into the bathroom, it'll sit there and... That's weird.
I have no idea. I would have taken a bit or something.
You said the last time you saw was 5:30 this morning?
On July 6, 2022, detectives...
That fake ass crying. Can we get some crocodile tears in the chat? Can we get some crocodilies in the chat?
arrived at Shanda Ramsey's home in Norton Shores after she made a 911 call reporting that her son, Timothy Ferguson, had fallen off the bed and was unresponsive.
My son's not breathing. He's still on hunger strike. I've been checking on all night because he's feeling good last night, and I woke up feeling the look this morning, and he's not breathing.
What initially seemed like an accident eventually started to look like a horrific plot when the detectives saw Timothy's frail body lying on the floor. And the detectives could never have imagined what they were in for.
The story that she's given is that she last talked to him at 5:30. He's stiff, rigor mortis, like his jaw's starting to lock up. There's no way that she talked to him at 5:30. No way.
I've dealt with hundreds of homicide investigations. I've seen crime scenes. I've seen dead bodies. I've seen everything. And nothing even comes close to this.
Little did the detectives know that soon, sinister clues would start to...
No, he accidentally did not go on a hunger strike. That's bullshit. She had the cabinets locked. She had locks on the fridge. She had everything locked up. He couldn't eat. They kept him from eating. There was no way for him to get to the food. And with him being 50 pounds, I'm sorry, but when I was on my so I started taking a medication last year and I got down to 98 pounds. I was so weak. At 50 pounds, there's no way that he could get around, and like, it would be really hard for him to, I don't know. It's very disturbing. He didn't go on a hunger strike. She's full of shit. She's full of shit.
Surface and reveal the true horrors that Timothy went through in his last moments.
The pictures of him in the home and the pictures of him at the autopsy are just haunting.
On the morning of July 6, 2022, Timothy had fallen out of bed and was not responsive.
How do you fall out of that bed? Tell me, am I wrong? Can you fall out of that bed? If you're 50 pounds, can you fall out of that bed? She took out the fact that she was alone and didn't have the life that she wanted on that. Yeah. Well, you'll also find out how she got custody of him, because she didn't have custody of him. His father had custody of him, and it all went downhill when his father started having medical problems and he had to go live with Shanda, and that's when it all started going downhill. When you see the pictures of him fishing and being outdoors and camping and stuff, I believe that that's right before all this started happening, because he looks older. He looks like he's around 14, 15 years old or whatever. This happened, I want to say, not even a year of her having him. I might be wrong.
Timothy's older brother Paul, younger brother Gabriel, and Shanda were present at the house when the tragedy occurred. Paramedics and police officers arrived at the scene and were directed to the basement. Paramedics got to work immediately, but it was already too late for Timothy.
There she is.
He was declared dead at the scene.
I was asking about you.
But first responders were suspicious of the scene in front.
But seriously, guys, am I wrong? Do you think that he could have fallen out of that bed being 50 pounds and it has that basically baby guardrail all the way around it? Or am I crazy? You think that he could have just fallen out off there while he was sleeping? Don't be sorry, you're here. Yay. We just started this video. You're good. You can go back and watch the other stuff. Yeah, it does. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. Okay, let me play this. I know y'all are like, stop pausing the video, Stormy.
Of them. Although it was possible that Timothy could have died from falling off the bed, many things didn't add up. The boy looked severely malnourished, and his clothes appeared too large for his tiny frame. He was also wearing an adult diaper, and his skin had bruises on different parts of his body. There was also a strong odor of urine and feces in the basement. They were...
Oh, yeah, he could have slid through. You're right. That's a See, this is why I ask you guys, because we're working together, right? We're doing this together. Right. What did you see? What did you see again? What did we see? And giving everything we know about his mother. Oh, you can't trust anything that comes out of her mouth. Teamwork. Absolutely. The nails? My nails? Oh, the rails. I'm blind. My bad. I thought you said nails. Okay, let's just go back to the video.
Reported these findings to the officers at the scene as Timothy's body was removed from the house. Outside, officers spoke to Shanda, who was clearly distraught. She told officers that Timothy had gone on a hunger strike when her husband, Adam, moved out of their home after suffering a stroke in January.
He did this back in, my husband's stroke was January 3rd. So he did this back in, I don't know, second week of January for almost 3 weeks. And then he ate something last night. I can't remember what it was now, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Shanda explained that Timothy couldn't handle sudden changes and acted up earlier that same year. With the help of her eldest son, Paul, they were able to get his eating back under control. However, this time, she wasn't aware of how bad his health had deteriorated.
He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple of weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me. He's been...
He has autism?
Yeah.
Like a high functioning?
Yeah. I had no clue how bad he was. I tried to check him in the last few days, and he just wouldn't let me anywhere near him. He didn't want a kiss, a hug, nothing.
Probably didn't want you to give him a hug because then you could tell that he was...
I would have known. I told him he was stumbling a little bit last night, but he's not the most coordinated kid in the world. And he said he was okay. And then he ate.
So what was the last time he ate, you think?
Last night.
Shanda mentioned to officers that Timothy avoided any physical affection with her, including hugging, so she hadn't really...
Yeah. The biggest crocodile tears I've seen in my life. I need to get a little stuffed crocodile, so every time someone has crocodile tears, we could just... Yeah. It's so fake. It's so fake. And all of these people around her know. They're like, this bitch is full of shit.
Realized his condition. It was only when her youngest son, Gabriel, saw Timothy coming out of the bathroom did they realize he was starving himself again.
Well, that's why I asked him to eat last night, because his face started looking a little... I'm like, okay, enough. And he wouldn't show... I'm like, let me see. Hold your shirt up. And he wouldn't hold his shirt up. He wouldn't do anything.
Did he get real skinny last time, too?
Yes. only reason I know is because my 7-year-old walked in on him accidentally when he was in the shower downstairs. And then my 7-year-old comes up and he's like, Mama, Timothy's really skinny. I was like, oh.
Was that this time or last time?
That was last time. That was like first week of February is when DC discovered that. And I told him he was either going to start eating multiple times a day or I was taking him to the hospital and he didn't want to go to the hospital. So
he ended up eating on his own.
Yes.
What, eating hot sauce on bread? Or what, are you gonna hold a little frozen, what is it, those pizza rolls in front of his face? I think he did sneak some frozen chicken nuggets at one point. Nate, frozen chicken nuggets. That's how hungry he was. He wasn't starving himself, this bitch.
Police then spoke to Paul.
Excuse my language, but no, don't excuse my language. I'm an adult. This is an adult channel talking about adult things.
About the events leading up to Timothy's death.
And when was the last time you talked to Tim?
Yesterday morning when I was getting him up.
No, yesterday afternoon before you left for work. Before I picked you up and took you to work because your e-bike time. You talked to him then.
I got off of work at 1 this morning.
Has he talked to you recently about his problems at all or what he's dealing with?
No, he never said any of word to me.
Did you guys have normal conversations?
I think the last time we did was before all of this happened. After that,
They literally, because he works a lot and they...
And sometimes brothers will tell each other what
That's true.
they're not willing to tell their parents.
Why you went on hunger strike? I mean, I'm assuming it's...
He didn't even know anything about it, he said so.
Like Shanda, Paul told officers that Timothy had been known to.
You see how she's acting? She's all like, oh, so did he say anything to you? Like, she's playing dumb. And she's not dumb. She passed the bar exam. Do you know how hard it is to pass the bar exam? She's not dumb, but she's playing dumb.
Go on these hunger strikes as a way of acting out against change. Paul's story was similar to Shanda's, but their claims that it repeatedly went on hunger strikes seemed quite bizarre to the detectives. They knew there was more to the story, but they couldn't have ever imagined what it was. With statements taken from both Shanda and Paul, officers began looking through the house and made some disturbing discoveries. In the basement, they found 2 bedrooms and a bunk bed in the common area between the rooms. They quickly surmised that the rooms belonged to Paul and his youngest brother Gabriel, which meant that Timothy slept on the bunk bed in the common area. Officers also searched inside a cupboard in the basement, which was fitted with an alarming camera, and were overcome by the stench of urine and feces. Inside, they found a single blue tarp covering the floor and a cardboard box. In a desk drawer in the basement, officers found a set of metal handcuffs. However, this wasn't even the most disturbing discovery. What the detectives were about to stumble upon would be even more gruesome.
Handcuffs here. It's like a webcam right there. I didn't even notice that. Hot sauce? Dude, what the hell?
So, did you guys see the tarp in the closet? And all the webcams? She was constantly watching them, not just Timothy, but also Paul. She was making sure that Paul was doing exactly what she told him to do to Timothy. She was making sure that Timothy was right where he was supposed to be.
Yeah, in the freezer. It's a box. Just to get in.
It's just everything in there is weird. There's webcams all over the place in the basement. If you go into the bathroom, it'll sit there and... That's weird.
As shocking as it was to find a bottle of hot sauce among the bath products on the counter, it wasn't the most disturbing.
Look at that. That's some hot sauce. What is with... I've noticed a pattern. Has this always been a thing where parents or guardians use hot sauce as a punishment? Like, I've only, over the past decade, have seen all these cases where parents are using hot sauce as punishment, and the way that they're using it is disgusting. And it's always like hot sauce on bread or the other, which is the hot sauce on the private parts. It's really sad.
Thing the detectives found. The search of the basement bathroom revealed even more disturbing discoveries. The floor was littered with used adult diapers, and another motion sensor camera pointed toward the shower, which didn't have a curtain to separate it from the rest of the room. These strange discoveries prompted officers to apply for a search warrant to review the camera footage and cell phone records of both Shanda and Paul. An autopsy was performed on Timothy the following day, given the suspicious nature of his death. On the examination table, Timothy's tiny frame shocked the medical examiner. For his height of 5 foot 6 inches, Timothy's weight of just 69 pounds was half the average weight of a boy his age. The medical examiner.
What'd they say? Hold on. Let me go. Oh, I went back too much. Jesus Christ. Okay.
On the examination table, Timothy's tiny frame shocked the medical examiner. For his height of 5 foot 6 inches, Timothy's weight of just 69 pounds was
5'6", 69 pounds. For a 15-year-old. That's terrible.
half the average weight of a boy his age. The medical examiner discovered that Timothy died of dehydration, malnutrition, and hypothermia. Timothy's death was ruled a homicide.
He didn't just become 69 pounds overnight. He got that way over an extended period of time. And he got that way because the people, or primarily the person who was supposed to care for him, wasn't doing that.
With this new information, it was evident that Timothy had been neglected and left to waste away. But Shanda and Paul both remained tight-lipped throughout the investigation when asked if Timothy was abused. They stuck to their original story, claiming that Timothy died because of his hunger strike. With Shanda and Paul not uttering a word, detectives had to turn to the only other witness who was present in the house, Timothy's stepbrother.
How do you have a hunger strike when everything's locked up? I don't get it. Reminds me of the girl with the couch. I always forget her name. Oh, are you talking about the parents that left the girl on the couch and, I hate to say this word, but just rotted away on the couch? I forget her name. Hold on.
Gabriel. And when Gabriel started talking, detectives finally learned what horrors truly went on in Shanda's house.
I recall that day actually quite vividly. I was just getting ready to sit down to dinner, and I got a call from a friend of mine. She had conducted the interview with the minor child who was in the home, and she called me because she was just absolutely floored. She just could not believe what she was hearing.
Gabriel had been in...
Lacey Fletcher. Yeah. That was crazy. Lacey Fletcher. It was in 2022. She was 36 years old, and she was neglected by her parents for over a decade. She was left on a couch covered in excrement and had become physically fused to the furniture due to extreme neglect and lack of medical care.
The house.
Oops. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that, I'm sorry, but you don't allow a child to go on hunger strike. That's just ridiculous. Did she think that that would fly? Girl, not only did she think that that would fly, in her recent hearing for her new trial, she's still going with it. She's still saying that he did all this to himself. She's taking no accountability. She's blaming everything. She says she had a terrible lawyer. She's saying Timothy did all this to himself. Like, she's not taking accountability for anything. anything. But yeah, Lacey Fletcher.
With Timothy and must have seen what truly happened to Timothy. Gabriel could very well be the key to solving the case.
You said you don't want to talk about Timothy and your mom?
I don't want to talk about those two because bad boys with mamas do not mix.
They are asking questions in such a way as to elicit a truthful response. And in every regard, G's answers to those questions sort of checked the boxes for her so that she believed that he was being honest about it and talking about basically a house of horrors that was going on inside the home.
And as the interview with Gabriel went on, more and more terrifying details about the
And you know what, Cal? It's always the people that mistreat their kids or don't want their kids or throw away their kids or don't deserve, like, it's always those people that can have kids and have many kids. And the people that want kids and they want to love kids and take care of them and have a family, they can't have kids. Like, it's so backwards. I don't know why life is like that.
horrors Timothy faced at the hands of Shanda and Paul came to light.
What would he do to be a bad boy?
Like, talk to me, try to sneak food, try to sneak some water, and one of his punishments, where every time he did a bad boy thing, he gets a dose of hot sauce. A hot spicy sauce.
Yeah. And you said to me, so...
Did he just sing that? Did he just sing that? He said, hot fiery sauce. I have a friend that wanted children so bad and couldn't. Yeah, Frank Wright. He just sang that. That's weird.
Who gave him who decided what the punishments were gonna be?
Yeah, Frank is like, hot
Nana.
sauce.
Everything was monitored. Everything was measured. Everything was controlled by her down to what he was eating.
Do you guys have a camera in your house?
Yes, we have some cameras.
Okay, what are the cameras for?
They're for watching Timothy before he died today.
Oh my god.
And Mama?
Did he just say, yeah, we have cameras? It was to watch him until today? He did. I wonder if Shanda sang when she oh. That's such a sad thought. That's such a sad thought. Like taunting him. Oh my god. I can't imagine being in that house. You know, this case has always been disturbing to me, but I don't know, like, I've never thought about being inside that house, and that's crazy.
Would be on the cameras and watch Tiffy as hard as she can, even if she gets tired. But the one she's no longer tired watching him, she watches him.
The interviewer listened carefully while Gabriel talked about the joy Shanda felt out of abusing Timothy and then watching the recordings of those from the cameras. But this wasn't all. According to Gabriel, Timothy's death could have been the result of one of Shanda's final punishments for Timothy.
Yeah,
You said you thought some punishments were the reason Timothy died.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this one?
I want to know how old this little boy is. I missed it. Did anyone catch how old this little boy is? The fact that he's saying, I think that these punishments is what caused him to die, that says a lot. That he saw a lot. I feel like he witnessed everything. And I wonder if he thinks, why didn't this happen to me? Because he looks okay.
Was one of them because it was uncomfortable. But over time, I think he had to do this in his small room.
With Gabriel's chilling testimony, the detectives geared up to build a case against Shanda and Paul. But they needed something stronger than an 8-year-old's word. And that break came through when the detectives successfully acquired a search warrant for Shanda's home and began looking through video footage from the basement of the Van der Ark home.
I didn't really check this one.
As it turns out, the camera that was in the closet actually did have a tiny micro SD card in it. I don't know if they just didn't realize that it was in there and didn't remove it and didn't destroy it. But for whatever reason, it was still in that camera when it was seized by the police. So we ultimately did get video footage from inside that closet.
In the video, police watched as Shanda placed Timothy on the tarp inside the basement cupboard. Timothy was seen wearing only a shirt and an adult diaper. There was also audio recorded of the interaction between the mother and son. Police heard Shanda admonish Timothy for his misbehavior. They then watched in horror as Shanda returned 15 minutes later and scolded Timothy.
You'll see it here, Coco. She's got wire. You know the thin wire locks? She's got those wrapped around the cabinets in the fridge.
About breathing through his mouth. The boy already appeared to be unresponsive. Shanda then covered his mouth and called him a d for not breathing correctly through his nose. Shanda proceeded to hold her hand over his mouth, and eventually, Timothy stopped breathing altogether. This was enough proof for the police to issue a warrant of arrest for Shanda. On the morning of July 8, 2022, Shanda was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and child abuse.
You're going to be charged with child abuse right now. I believe it's the first or second degree, so it is a felony. So
I actually missed that whole part. I had not seen that footage that they just showed. Wow. I'm sorry. I would have put a trigger warning up. I had not even, I don't know how I missed that. I didn't see that. What did she get for a prison sentence? I don't remember. I want to say life without parole, but she's asking for a new trial right now. She's saying that her lawyer was incompetent. Question for me is, what do you think triggered this? He looks healthy in the outdoors picture. In the outdoors picture, I think is when he was with his father, when he lived with his father. What happened is his father had health issues, and that's what sent him to go live with his mother. All this started happening when he went to go live with his mother. I'm going to look that up just to double check, but I feel like she got life without parole. While this plays, I'll look that up.
you won't be able to get out of jail until you see the judge, until all the warrant paperwork's done there, okay? Which will probably be tomorrow. All right. No, I'm the bearer of bad news right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a bad couple days.
Had 6 months. Never strokes.
Nope, you're all right. I do have to handcuff you, but I'll do it in the front.
If my blood sugar crashes, I need that.
Are you diabetic?
I'm reactive hypoglycemic.
Okay. You take medication for that?
No. I have a service dog normally, but I didn't bring him.
Yeah.
For good reason.
All right. I can let you have that all the way up until the jail.
A virtual hearing was held at the county court. The judge ordered that Shanda be held without bail as she posed a flight risk.
The denial of food to the child, feeding the child nothing but bread, and bread soaked in hot sauce, pouring hot sauce down the child's throat, and placing the child in a bath, which we believe would be the explanation ultimately for why the child had suffered hypothermia, and that most notably happened the day before the child passed away.
The judge ultimately denied her bond, leaving Vander Ark in a Muskegon County jail tonight.
This court has grave concerns, not only.
So she was, oh wait, no, that was Timothy. Oh, never mind, that was Timothy.
About the safety and well-being of the community, but also regarding the ability of the defendant to flee.
While Shanda remained behind bars, Paul took to social media to share his concerns about the investigation.
Hey everybody, just figured I'd send a quick check
Yeah, it's she got life without parole.
for y'all, but we're doing good right now. I just dozed off on the couch unintentionally, and I forgot to give a quick check for today. But yeah. Oh, when I can't actually get in contact with you guys, I'll probably post a quick check like this. For those of you who aren't aware, my little brother has passed away, and my mother is currently in the custody of...
Do you... Sir. Y'all, if your brother just passed away and your mom just went to jail, would you be up on a live talking about it? He ain't even crying. He's just like, yeah, my brother died. My mom's in jail. I just took a nap. So what y'all up to? The fuck?
Well, I'm not sure if it's...
That's Paul. That's Paul. So this is the older brother that helped Shanda torture. Yeah. Yep. This is the one that helped inflict everything upon Timothy. And like this is why I have mixed feelings about it, because he's just so nonchalant. I don't know.
It's a lot to deal with, but right now we're doing good. We're fine.
But the investigation was not quite over. In the week following Shanda's arrest, police obtained the...
He's like, I'm just gonna pet my puppy. We're good. We're fine. We're doing good. What?
Family's phone records and investigated the video footage collected from the house. The text messages exchanged between Shanda and Paul revealed an...
I think he disassociated a long time ago. Like I said earlier, I think that he's partially a victim as well in this. I think that he's been dissociated from this a while ago.
alarming series of events. Shanda and Paul had been working together to inflict various forms of punishment on Timothy for months. It was revealed through these messages that Paul had carried out much of the maltreatment as directed by Shanda. There were messages which showed how Paul had complained about Timothy's behavior. Some messages also showed how Paul asked for direction in punishing Timothy and even made suggestions for punishments. Some of these punishments included feeding Timothy bread covered in hot sauce, forcing him to throw up food he wasn't allowed to eat, and even pouring hot sauce directly into Timothy's mouth and on his privates when he didn't listen to orders. Armed with the new evidence, Paul was arrested about a week later and was interrogated by police. During his interrogation, he admitted to lying to police about Timothy's death on the orders of his mother, Shanda, and that the hunger strike story was false.
So tell me what really happened in the morning, because obviously what was told to us wasn't the truth. What really happened? When you guys, somebody found him, or...
I woke up and I had been grabbing my shoes, and it was at that point that it basically all played out like we said. The whole morning thing was exact. He wasn't breathing in the closet. It was the closet, though. We had to get him out of the closet to try and resuscitate.
So it's you and your mother that tried to get him out of the closet?
We did get him out. We tried to resuscitate.
Who noticed him first? You or
my mother?
Did she have asked you via text to check on him on the way up? That's not what happened. She said, hey, can you check on him? I ran upstairs. You remember that text message at all?
No. Okay. There might have been one that I didn't see, but
okay. So you guys pull him off the club.
We tried to resuscitate him. We gave him rescue breaths. His breath smelled horrible. I thought maybe he might have still been capable of being resuscitated, but his mouth was still wet.
Yeah.
Paul also told the officers that he loved Timothy and explained that he'd tried to tell his mother that they should consider taking Timothy to a hospital for treatment. But this sudden emotion for Timothy on Paul's face seemed like...
And he did send texts to Shonda saying, hey, he looks really bad. I think we should get him help. And like I said as well, I believe he states in his trial or when he testifies against Shonda that he had tried to sneak him food when he could. Again, there's cameras all over that house. It's impossible for him to not do what Shonda says. But again, I'm not saying anything that he did was right, but I do believe in a sense that he did at the end there maybe try.
Like an act. Detectives were sure Paul was hiding the full truth, and so they cornered him into revealing some shocking secrets.
I loved him so much.
Yeah, I can tell that. I can certainly tell that. That's your brother.
Yeah.
That's June 13th, less than a month ago. You sent this picture to her, and you said, he's looking like a skeleton, we need to give him more food. But you guys didn't give him more food over the next couple weeks. You guys gave him less and more punishment, and less bread, and more bread with hot sauce. That's what really happened. You reached out to her and said, this is scary looking, right? You probably thought, he can barely walk. You sent a picture of his legs, right? You sent this picture of his legs to your mother, right here.
To get his eating back.
Absolutely. He's absolutely responsible. Like I said, he had the means to get in touch with someone. He had the means to say no. He had the means to get Timothy out of there. He could have saved his brother, and he didn't. Whether or not it was because he was brainwashed or had just been conditioned by Shonda and I can't think of the word right now, groomed. It's just, I'm on the fence with him. I don't think anything he did was right, but I also think that he's a victim in this. I feel that when you grow up in a home like this, it alters who you are, your brain, your heart, and your soul. Yeah.
Under control. However, this time, she wasn't aware of how bad his health had deteriorated.
He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple of weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me. He's been...
He has autism?
Yeah.
Like a high functioning?
Yeah. I had no clue how bad he was. I tried to check it in the last few days, and he just wouldn't let me anywhere near him. He didn't want a kiss, a hug, nothing.
Probably didn't want you to give him a hug, because then you could tell that he was...
Hug, nothing. I bet you haven't given your son any love, affection, anything in quite some time. I wonder if this boy ever felt love, knew what love was. Maybe when he was with his father. I don't know much about, like I said, there's not a lot of information out there from this back. It's just a lot of this. It's really sad. Yeah.
And I told him he was stumbling a little bit last night, but he's not the most coordinated kid in the world. And he said he was okay. And then he ate.
So what was the last time he ate, you think?
Last night.
Shanda mentioned to officers that Timothy avoided any physical affection with her, including hugging, so she hadn't realized his condition. It was only when her youngest son Gabriel saw Timothy coming out of the bathroom did they realize he was starving himself again.
Well, that's why I asked him to eat last night, because his face started looking a little thin. I'm like, okay, enough. And he wouldn't show. I'm like, let me see. Hold your shirt up. And he wouldn't hold his shirt up. He wouldn't do anything.
Did he get real skinny last time too?
Yes. The only reason I know is because my 7-year-old walked in on him accidentally when he was in the shower downstairs. And then my 7-year-old comes up and he's like, Mama, Timothy's really skinny. I was like, oh.
Was that this time or last time?
That was last time. That was like first week of February is when DC discovered that. And
Oh, wait a minute. Did it start over? Hold on. Why did it skip all that? It started over. Hold on. That's weird.
Smart and intelligent and the smartest one in the room. She didn't do anything about that. Didn't think about taking him to the doctor.
That was weird.
Into revealing some shocking secrets.
I loved him so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can
don't
tell
know
that.
what happened. It went all the way back to
That's
the
your brother.
beginning.
Yeah. That's June 13th.
I'm like, there's still
Less than a
half
month
the video
ago.
left. Why did
You
it go back
sent
to
this
the
picture to
beginning?
her and you said, he's looking like a skeleton. We need to give him more food. But you guys didn't give him more food over the next couple weeks. You guys gave him less and more punishment and less bread and more bread with hot sauce. That's what really happened. You reached out to her and said, this is scary looking, right? You probably thought, he can barely walk. You sent a picture of his legs, right? You sent this picture of his legs to your mother. Right here. You sent this to her. And what'd you say? Something along the lines of, no wonder he can barely stand up or walk. Look at that. And your mother, being smart and intelligent and the smartest one in the room, she didn't do anything about that? Didn't think about taking him to the doctor? Didn't think about, we have to give him some more food, like seriously now? Instead, what do you think she did? She gave him less and more punishment. Until what? He ends up dead. And what did she tell the police? He was always wearing baggy clothes, so I didn't notice anything until last night. Another just blatant lie. Another blatant lie. If this was all an accident, why would she lie to us?
During further questioning, Paul explained to officers that Shanda had installed two-way speakers in the house and sometimes directed Paul over the speakers about the various punishments that he could enact on Timothy. Paul then admitted.
Yeah, she wasn't just watching. She's got those cameras like I do, where like I've got cameras like that around my house, but we're not stalking each other. It's just me and my husband here. We've got them for protection because I had something happen to me back at our old house, and so when we moved in here, we made sure we had a lot of cameras. So I've got a camera on the front door. I've got a camera above the garage. I've got a camera on the inside of the house in the living room. We've got one in the garage. We've got one in the backyard. We've got one on the side of the fence. We've got, let me see, is there any? That might be all the cameras. There's like 5 or 6. But okay, thank you, Frank. Bye. I can talk through all of them. And like last night there was a cat walking by and I was like, kitty, 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 kitty. Yes, I was trying to talk to the cat through the microphone. Anyways, so not only was she watching everything, she made sure that she was giving Paul orders through the cameras. As soon as we're done with this, we're not going to stay much longer.
To the officers that the day before Timothy died, the boy was punished and forced to take a 9-hour ice bath. This answered the question of
A 9-hour ice bath. This is just one. This is just the one before what happened to him. Can you imagine how many ice baths that baby probably had? 9 hours. That's crazy. She had little ice maker. You know those little ice makers you could put on your counter? She had one of those for that particular reason. And we'll get into all that too. We're going to go through everything.
How hypothermia contributed to Timothy's death. Paul was charged with first-degree child abuse and held on bail of $500,000. He opted to take a plea deal and agreed to testify against Shanda at her hearing for a reduced sentence. Both Shanda and Paul remained in custody until her trial began on December 13th.
Look at those mugs. Look, they're criminals. We can make fun of them, right? Look at those mugs. Oof. Oof. That's scary looking. Not looking too good there. Not looking too good there. All right, Kel. Thank you. Bye. Everyone's leaving me.
2023. As per his plea deal agreement, Paul took the stand as a witness for the prosecution. Paul testified against Shanda, telling the court how she was the ringleader and he simply followed her orders when torturing Timothy. He was asked about Timothy's health and appearance when he first came to live with them in Michigan. Paul admitted that Timothy appeared to be healthy and perhaps a bit chubby at the beginning. He then explained that following Adam's stroke and subsequent move to Florida in January 2022, Shanda had started locking the pantry and monitoring Timothy's food intake. From the moment Paul took the stand, more detail.
Did you guys see the locks on the fridge? It explains that when his father got sick and had a stroke, that's when he had to go live with them. Look at the... Hold on. Oop. Look at the locks on the pantry and fridge.
Shanda had started locking the pantry.
You see that? That's crazy.
And monitoring Timothy's food intake. From the moment Paul took the stand, more details about the gruesome Timothy faced at the hands of Shanda came to light.
Can you describe what was happening at that time and how he was restricted from getting access to food?
He was sneaking food that was not necessary at that time, and it was solved by placing locks on the fridge, freezer, and pantry.
Bullshit. What do you mean food that wasn't necessary at that time? Who locks up their fridge and pantry? Who cares? If I want a snack, I'm gonna eat me a snack. I had a bad childhood, but no one ever locked a pantry or fridge on me.
Well, he's saying he was sneaking food that wasn't necessary. He would make that determination that it wasn't necessary.
Shanda.
But at some point, were you instructed to do something with him because he wouldn't wake up?
Put him in an ice bath.
And did you do that?
Yes.
How did you get him from the closet to the bathroom?
I had to drag him.
Was your mother giving you instructions on what to do with him while he was in that tub at that point in time?
Yes, sir.
What was she telling you to do?
Make him uncomfortable.
You said that you were supposed to make sure that he stayed uncomfortable. How were you supposed to make him uncomfortable in a night bath?
Put his body at an odd angle that was not a comfortable position to be in.
When he was in the tub, would he try to rest his head somewhere?
I would, you know what? If this baby was still with us, I would send him my whole snack crate and more. So not only was this poor baby in an ice bath for what they say 9 hours, they made sure that he was in an uncomfortable position, that Paul drug him, and then made sure that he was in an uncomfortable position. Like, not just, you gonna sit in the ice bath for a little bit, 9 hours should do. Now, we're gonna bump this up a notch. Let me twist you up a little bit and see how that works. Like, this is beyond twisted. And like he just said, these were Shanda's orders, and you see her over there like, oh man.
On his shoulder, yes, or the lip of the tub.
Is that why?
No.
During the testimony, Paul told the court that Shanda had also stopped giving Timothy his medication when he moved in with them in May 2021.
Damn straight.
He also mentioned that Shanda had stopped taking Timothy to see a doctor for his regular checkups and for other illnesses. Paul testified that Timothy was homeschooled, and wasn't allowed to leave the house or enter.
I feel like there's a positive and a negative side with homeschooling. There are a lot of parents that just simply don't want their kids in school because they don't feel like they're getting the education that they need, because they're taking a lot of stuff out of schools. They're taking a lot of history out of schools. They're not teaching what they need to be teaching. And that's okay. But then you've got this part where you've got people taking their children out of school because they're being abused, and they don't want the school to see it because those are mandated reporters. If they're not in school and they're homeschooled, the abuse continues. No one sees it. The child's hidden. The child can't tell anybody. He's completely isolated. Completely isolated. They isolate the child by doing this. And that's why I feel like if you're going to have a homeschooling program, they should have someone come in and make sure everything's okay. Like, I know CPS isn't that great, but something like that where it's like, okay, this kid's being homeschooled. We need to go check on that kid, see how the homeschooling's going. And just, I feel like that should be a thing.
Interact with anyone outside the family. On the stand, Paul denied the alleged hunger strike and admitted it was a fabricated story developed by him and Shanda to explain Timothy's malnourished appearance.
Yeah.
When did you next become aware that something was happening with Timothy?
The next morning,
They go into the closet basically to wake him up, and obviously he's deceased at that point. Do you remember what your mother said when you asked her if we should call 911?
she said no.
Was there some discussion about a hunger strike?
Yes.
What was the discussion about the hunger strike at that point?
Shonda said to say that he'd gone on a hunger strike.
Where's
that? We found him on the bed.
Seems obvious, but who is she referring to?
Timothy.
Paul's testimony continued as he gave a more detailed account of what punishments he or Shanda would administer to Timothy. One such type of punishment included making Timothy run up and down the patio area. Text messages exchanged between Paul and Shanda were read out in court, revealing that Shanda had wanted Paul to chase Timothy to make the punishment more difficult.
Was there ever some physical discipline that was involved with him being outside as well?
Yes.
What was that discipline?
He was made to run up and down the patio stairs.
That's so taunting. Imagine your punishment is to run up and down stairs, but you have someone chasing after you.
And those are stairs in the back of your house?
Yes, sir.
Are those visible at all from the front of the house?
No, sir.
Visible to anyone walking by on the street or driving by, anything of that nature?
No, sir.
There are some text messages referenced in there where there's a discussion about doing the stairs chasing style. What is that, if you remember?
Following close behind him to ensure he moves faster.
Yeah.
And who would be the one that would chase him if that was taking place?
I had to.
Timothy had also been subjected to cleaning the garage while only wearing a diaper so that he didn't mess up the floor. Paul admitted that the cameras were placed in the basement so that he and Shanda could monitor Timothy and see if he was completing the punishments given to him by either of them.
Police have indicated that at the time they searched her residence, there were a number of cameras seized, as well as some other items. So let's talk about the cameras first. What was the purpose of the cameras being inside the residence?
To watch Timothy.
And who would be watching Timothy on those cameras?
My mother, or when she couldn't, she had me do so.
And how is it that you would, kind of explain for the jury if you can, how is it that you watched the cameras so you could watch what Timothy was doing?
I would log into the app on my phone, and it would alert me if there was a motion movement.
So you had you had your phone and you had some type of app on there that was connected to those cameras?
Several, yes.
And you said that you were also alerted to movement. Were there motion sensors in the home?
Yes, and the cameras also had that feature as well. They activated on motion.
And what what was the restriction on Timothy's movement that would cause those cameras to go off? Where was he limited to?
Possibly.
Could you please reiterate?
Yeah.
Possibly he might have been, like I said, a victim when he was younger. I just look at him. I feel like he's definitely had his own issues with her.
Where could Timothy go, basically?
And I definitely feel like, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but I feel like there might be some mental disabilities there with him.
Mainly he was restricted to the downstairs area, to a closet downstairs.
These punishments included doing wall sits for hours or kneeling in front of a wall for hours on end. If Timothy ever faltered or his position shifted, Shanda would increase the duration of the punishment to make up for breaking the rules. Paul then told the court that Timothy was sometimes handcuffed or zip-tied to restrict his movements, and an alarm was placed on his belt in case he moved without permission. Timothy's use of the bathroom was also monitored by both Paul and Shanda and was severely dealt with if he overstayed his turn. Paul revealed that Timothy was punished if he'd had an accident before using the bathroom, despite using a diaper at all times. When asked about the hot sauce punishment, Paul told the court that Timothy was regularly forced to eat hot sauce without being given any water. Sometimes he'd be fed bread soaked in hot sauce before being allowed to eat normal bread 30 minutes later.
We've seen a lot of text messages and references to hot sauce and hot sauce retrieved from the home. At some point in time, were you asked to start feeding him bread with hot sauce on it?
Yes.
And who asked you to do that?
Shonda.
Why were you giving him bread with hot sauce on it?
Because he was supposedly misbehaving.
And how would you describe to the jury what you would do to do that and to make him eat the bread with hot sauce?
I would put it on bread, have him stand in the kitchen area near the back door and watch him eat until he finished.
And was he required to eat it until it was all gone?
Yes, sir.
Did it ever look like he wanted to eat the bread with hot sauce?
No.
Were there times where you were told that he could have something besides bread with hot sauce on it if he ate the bread with hot sauce first?
Regular bread, yes.
So he had to eat that bread with
Regular
hot
bread.
sauce first, and then he could have some regular bread.
Regular bread. What is he, a bird? What do you mean regular bread?
Yes.
Did he have to wait a period of time before he could eat the regular bread, though?
Yes, sir.
Well, do you remember about what that was about?
30 minutes?
Oh, hi, Tiger Lily. Good to see you.
With taking out the bread out of the
Thank
equation,
you.
was hot sauce used in some other fashion as a form of discipline for him?
It was directly into his mouth.
And who would do that?
Me or Shonda, me under her orders.
And it's just like what you sound like? How did you do that?
Had him open his mouth and put it in.
There were also times when Paul was instructed to feed Timothy hot sauce directly. Paul admitted that during a text conversation with Shanda, she'd toyed with the idea of dripping hot sauce over Timothy's privates. At the end of his testimony,
Why is that a thing? When did that become a thing? I don't understand. Who came up with that? Because I've noticed it's a trend. He doesn't say my mother, is he? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's hers. That's his mama.
the prosecutor
Hey, can we not fork, please? Hi, you guys are so cute. The weenies are saying hello. They're borking. But yeah. Probably like you guys said, Hi, Simmy. Good to see you. He's completely dissociated himself from all of this. He's probably traumatized himself, to be honest with you. That's why I have a hard time, like, oh God, like, I know what he did was wrong. He knows what he did was wrong, but at the same time, you know what I mean? And if you guys stay with me throughout these next couple weeks and watch these trials and stuff like that, you'll see everything.
The prosecution team questioned Paul about his change of heart.
Good to see you, Simmy.
He admitted to being concerned after seeing Timothy getting weak. Paul had sent Shanda pictures of Timothy and suggested that they take him to a doctor. Paul confessed to feeling sorry for Timothy and making him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some scrambled eggs with cheese.
Did he ever eat any normal type of meal leading up to his death after you took that photo and sent it to your mother?
That day I made him an actual real meal, an actual peanut butter and jelly sandwich, as well as scrambled some eggs and put cheese in them.
See, this is what I'm talking about. There were times where he had a conscience. Like, he wanted to feed his brother. He wanted to take care of him, but he was under Shonda's thumb. Like, she had her thumb, like, on him. You saw the cameras.
Did you tell your mother you made that meal for him?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I didn't want her to be upset with me.
Because I didn't want her to be upset with me.
He'd hid this from Shanda so that he wouldn't get into trouble. He admitted that he only followed his mother's instructions because he looked up to her as a role model in his life. He worshipped her to an extent. In order to keep himself from getting convicted, Paul not only put the whole blame on Shanda, but he also portrayed himself as another victim of hers. But was this going to work?
I suppose I didn't love him enough.
No,
That's why I'm trying to bring justice for him.
Just a moment. I don't know.
But can I say that I loved him during the time before his death?
Yes. Did you love him before his death?
With all the ways I acted, I cannot.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When did you start feeling this way? While he was alive or after you found out that the way he was being treated killed him?
After?
Yeah.
So while the time he was alive.
That's what we were discussing, Simi. Like, that's a hard one. I agree 100%. Shonda was monitored. He was quite cruel. Yeah, he was.
Did you think you were killing him?
No.
Shanda was the next to take the stand. Her defense team argued that Shanda showed signs of dissociation due to a post-traumatic stress she suffered after her husband Adam's stroke. Her attorney also told the court that Shanda suffered from blackouts and memory loss and would...
Our poor attorney. That man tried. He really did. And he knew she was wrong, and he knew that they weren't going to win that case, but he really did try.
most probably not fully remembers some of the information presented during her testimony. The prosecution, though, didn't believe this tactic. When asked about why a doctor hadn't seen Timothy, Shanda said that her ex-husband had not given her Timothy's medical card in order for him to receive medication and treatment. It seems Shanda had an answer for every question posed to her.
And cameras in your home, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the impression from the testimony I heard is that it was for the sole purpose of ensuring that Timothy could not get the food. Is that accurate?
No.
Why did you have all those monitors and cameras in your home?
When Timothy came to live with us, his stepmother informed me that they...
I hate her face. I can't stand her voice. Oh my God, and we're going to have to see and listen to it so much.
had motion sensors. They weren't as tech savvy as I was. I worked in tech, before law school, I worked in tech support for several years. But they had motion sensors and she told me that she didn't sleep at night. She only slept when he was at school because he was into everything. And so because my younger child, he used to, when he was about 2, he would take all his clothes off. So we started putting a camera in his room. And then once we moved to the Marshall Road location, it was bi-level. My husband was born with a disability. My husband was wheelchair bound. So we had an extra wheelchair that we kept on the upper level. That's where the master bedroom was. But that way, if G was down in his bedroom, my husband could talk to him through the camera and have him come up. It was much easier. My husband could crawl down the steps before the stroke, but we didn't want him to have to crawl up and down those steps.
Okay.
When questioned about why there were locks on the fridge in the pantry, Shanda explained that Timothy was eating a large amount of food, including bacon, beef, and uncooked chicken nuggets.
He stopped. He started eating again.
He started eating again, so then you decided he's been on a hunger strike, he's eating again, so now we better lock up the food.
No, I did the locks to protect him because he could himself eating the chicken nuggets. I didn't.
Ma'am, he was eating frozen chicken nuggets because that's all he could get. The most punchable face ever. Oh my God. Yeah, do you know how much grown boys eat? Hell, let the boy eat.
Put the locks on after he did the hamburger or the bacon, but the chicken nuggets, it was raw chicken.
Chicken nuggets are
So maybe teach him how to cook.
cooked, aren't they? They're pre-cooked.
Are they? I didn't even think about that.
When cross-examined, Shanda claimed to have no memory of sending many of the texts that investigators had found.
Mr. Johnson asked you if you remember the text about, honestly, tell me if you think this is all fake. Remember that?
Vaguely.
You vaguely remember that text?
Yes, sir.
So you can remember the text where it tries to provide you with a defense to this, but you can't remember any of the horrible things that you did to Timothy. Is that your testimony here today?
I don't have any control over what I can remember and what I don't, sir.
She refused to acknowledge responsibility for Timothy's death. While on the stand, though, Shanda admitted to lying about feeding Timothy the night before he died or threatening him with a hospital visit if he didn't start eating again. When confronted about the hot sauce punishment, Shanda told the prosecutor that she couldn't imagine having sent such a message to Paul. When asked about her reasoning and logic behind keeping Timothy awake as a form of punishment, Shanda said that she wanted him to know how it felt to be kept awake when he wanted to sleep.
Punishments, and I guess this 3 o'clock in the morning one about not letting him sleep or he gets an ice bath, so he's got to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. You said that was because he would keep you guys up in the middle of the night or wake you up in the middle of the night?
Yes.
And again, you did really well on the logic and reasoning portion of the LSAT exam. Can you explain the reasoning behind keeping somebody awake when they're keeping you awake?
To show them how it feels.
Oh my God. She's too much.
But they were already awake, aren't they?
It made sense to me, sir. That's now that you ask it, but it doesn't seem to make sense, but it made sense to me at the time.
He was, Simi. If you go back and watch the beginning, most of the beginning is about him, and I showed some pictures and stuff.
You didn't actually mean that as punishment. That was just out of spite. You were just angry with Timothy for keeping you awake, weren't you?
No, it was meant as a punishment, sir.
But it's also a punishment for yourself because you have to stay awake as well, don't you?
I don't sleep much anyway. Yes, sir.
Or Paul has to stay awake, right?
Yes, sir. Paul's an insomniac as well.
The prosecutor then questioned Shanda about her claim of giving Timothy a hot bath the night before he died. To prove that Shanda was lying about knowing Timothy's condition, the prosecutor presented her with his autopsy images.
You testified that you gave Timothy a warm bath the night before he passed away, that last night, July 5th. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
That was the first time you've told anybody connected to this case that you'd done that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You never told the police officers you did that, did you?
No, sir.
I imagine a warm bath sounds just what it sounds.
I've come across a lot of bad cases and a lot of evil people, but she's up there. She's definitely in the top 3.
Right? You got him, you took him to the bath, you grew a warm bath for him, and you put him in the bathtub, right?
Yeah, Nurse Ratchet for sure. Evil.
This is hours before he dies, right?
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub?
Oh, don't you even. This bitch. Let's fake throw up now. Let's fake cry. Let's fake cry. Let's fake throw up. Hey, Nikki. How are you? Good to see you. We're almost done here, but hello. But yeah, this woman and her fake crying and the fake puking and her migraines and oh my God. This woman is nothing but excuses and blames everything on everybody else and she's exhausting.
I'm sorry.
Gotta make the
Order in the court.
After looking at
Mark
the images
said order
before,
in the court.
Shanda held her hand to her mouth and proceeded to get sick while on the stand.
No. And look, the judge is like, oh shit. And by the way, I love this judge, unless he gives her a new trial and then I don't like him anymore. But, was this a jury trial? I don't think so. I don't remember. I think it was a bench trial. I'll double check. But yeah, I loved this judge. He gave her the what for.
Judge then called for an end to the day's proceedings following the incident. The next day, the trial continued without Shanda as her defense team explained that she'd fallen ill the day before. The judge allowed for the trial to continue as the investigation team presented their evidence to the jury. While Shanda's emotional response to these images might have helped her score some sympathy points from the jury, the next and the strongest piece of evidence presented by the prosecution wiped all of Shanda's hopes away. A detective took the stand and described a recorded footage of Shanda torturing Timothy in his final moments.
Did it record any audio from Miss Vander Ark as she was pulling Timothy into the closet and positioning him on the floor?
It did. I could hear Miss Vander Ark tell Timothy that he is pathetic, and then adds, but I already knew that as she was dragging him in.
Yeah, it was a jury trial. They just said it anyways. I just wanted to double check.
Can be seen his chest rising, lowering very slightly, small little movements, and then there is a point in time where you stop seeing that, and his body just kind of relaxes, and it appears to me that he has died at that point.
The video had not been shown in court due to it creating a biased or prejudiced opinion of the defendant. Investigators told the court that the video evidence that showed Timothy's final moments and the role that Shanda played in ending his life. It was described in detail how Shanda dragged Timothy into the cupboard and laid him on the tarp hours before he died.
Yeah.
Investigators also told the jury how 18 minutes before the police were called, audio recordings picked up the conversation between Shanda and Paul. The entire audio captured the exact plan that...
Trigger warning, just in case they show that again. Hey, Ruckus, good to see you.
hatched between the pair to explain Timothy's poor health due to his recent hunger strike.
I don't. I just want to make it look like he's in that bed. You probably don't. Come on in, right? Yeah.
Investigators reiterated that it was both Paul and Shanda who created an elaborate plan to hide the suffering that Timothy endured at their hands.
Count 1, charging open murder involving the death of Timothy Ferguson. We find her guilty of first-degree felony murder. Count 2, first-degree child abuse. We find her guilty of first-degree child abuse.
On December 15th, 2023, even though Shanda was not present, the jury deliberated for only an hour before finding Shanda guilty of open
1
murder
hour.
and first-degree child.
That's all they needed. They said, you know what? And you know what? They probably just spent that one. They probably walked in the door and was all like, is everybody, we all know, right? So let's just sit here because the judge is going to make us wait for a little bit. Because you know, when you go out too quick, the judge is going to be like, no, y'all need to go back. So they probably just sat there for an hour and came back out and was all like, yep, guilty. They knew she was guilty before they even went back there.
On December 21st, 2023, Paul pleaded guilty to first-degree child abuse. On January 24th, 2024, Shanda was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Timothy Ferguson and will serve her sentence at the Woman's Huron Valley Correctional Facility.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much they said, let's get this lunch first. Let's eat.
At Shanda's sentencing, Timothy's other siblings, Nolan and Millie, spoke about how they felt about Shanda and her disgusting actions.
And we are going to go over their impact statements as well. I feel really bad for those two.
If I can't have my brother back, she shouldn't have her freedom back. And lastly, I want everyone to know that to those who knew him, even that wouldn't feel like justice.
I want the woman who killed my little brother to face the highest punishment possible. I want her detained for the rest of her life so she can't hurt anyone else.
Judge Matthew Cassell spoke directly to Shanda about her horrific actions.
I love him.
I'm not going to let you hide in the darkness anymore. People know what you are now. They know what you did. You're not able to hide in the darkness anymore.
A little picture of Timothy.
Timothy won. And he won because we know what you did to him now. It's not hidden anymore. We know who you are. That's the way that I'm going to honor him. You don't win. Because justice, thank God, in this case prevailed. I can't even imagine if you had been able to resuscitate him. He'd be still suffering. So if there's anything I'm grateful for, would be that he finally passed away so you couldn't continue to torture him. You did.
On February 26,
That right there is a good judge. And he's the same judge that's going to make the decision on whether or not she gets a new trial. And I have a feeling he's going to say no. When I see an end of a trial, I always am waiting for the judge to give the guilty party the what for. Like, give it to them. Tell them who they are. You know, like this is what you can do. And that judge took that and like he ran with it. He said what he needed to say for Timothy, and I thought it was beautiful. He had Timothy's picture up there. He told her that she was a monster, and that's what needed to happen. And I wish there were more judges like that that would take the opportunity that they have.
2024, Paul Ferguson was set to learn his fate. Judge Matthew Cassell also presided over his hearing.
Mark, she's already had her 2 hearings for her new trial. The reason that I'm doing all of this again is because of that. And so after this next week, I'm going to start from the beginning and go all the way through everything, including Paul's trial. And then I'm going to get to the 2 hearings. If you guys want, no, that wouldn't make sense. I'm going to have to do it in order. But yeah, she's already gone before the judge for this. So we're just waiting to see when he's going to come back with a yes or no. I'm still waiting to see if Adam Montgomery's getting a new trial too, because that judge hasn't come back with an answer yet either.
Paul asked the judge to show mercy and told him that he would never feel better because Timothy was gone.
I asked the judge for nothing more than mercy and fairness, to offer me compassion so I might learn from him. I only hope to better myself in the coming days and serve my time with what little honor I have left, and to make right my faults in search of better.
I really hate when these people ask for mercy, because I don't think that you showed your victim any mercy. Like, the audacity of asking for mercy.
Better tomorrow.
Judge Cassell remarked that Paul only felt sorry because he got caught.
The court is concerned that Mr. Ferguson will not get the help he needs in prison. I think he's one step away from becoming a psychopath like his mother.
Woo! He said, I think you're one step away of becoming a psychopath.
And the court is concerned that he represents a danger to the public. That if released, he would represent a significant danger to the public. Mr. Ferguson, I think you are a product of your environment, but I don't believe you that you're sorry. I don't think you have empathy. I don't think you have any emotion whatsoever. And that's what scares the court. It really
This judge does not hold back.
scares me. I think you're sorry that you're here. I think you're sorry you got caught. Based on all that, it's a sentence of the court. You serve 30 years to 100 years in Michigan Department of Corrections.
Oh my God.
Credit for 5.
Look at his face. He's like, what? What? What did you think was going to happen, sir? What did you think? You unalived somebody. You unalived and tortured your little brother, sir. Oh my God. Yeah, that face. Hey, James. He's all like, what? Oh my God. Yeah. 30 to 100 years. We'll see how much he serves. He goes, should we rewind it to see his face again? That was so good. Hold on.
Paul only felt sorry because he got caught.
The court is concerned that Mr. Ferguson will not get the help he needs in prison. I think he's one step away from becoming a psychopath like his mother.
One step away from becoming a psychopath.
He represents a danger to the public. That if released, he would represent a significant danger to the public. Mr. Ferguson, I think you are a product of your environment, but I don't believe you that you're sorry. I don't think you have empathy. I don't think you have any emotion whatsoever. And that's what scares the court. It really scares me. I think you're sorry that you're here. I think you're sorry you got caught. Based on all that, it's a sentence of the court. You serve 30 years to 100.
He goes, now if that wasn't an O face, I don't know what is. He said, oh shit. Oh my God.
Years in
So
the
good.
Department of Corrections. Credit for 592 days you've already served.
Paul was sentenced to 30 to 100 years in prison for first-degree child abuse and will start his sentence at the Charles E. Eagler Reception and Guidance Center while awaiting prison placement. It's the symptom of a depraved society when children can't find security with those that were meant to protect them from the dangers of the world. It's heartbreaking to think that Timothy, who was already dealt a cruel hand by life, was subjected to such horror at the end. So today, we welcome your opinions on the case of Timothy Richard Ferguson. How did no one recognize the danger in Shanda? How does a mother watch her child waste away without remorse?
So that will be the introduction to, like I said, a series of this case. We're going to go from the beginning to current. I appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to play this one more time because he absolutely deserves it. He's a beautiful child. If you guys haven't liked the video already, who put out that video. That video is from, let me double check really quick because I've got it saved. I emailed them. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. It's in one of my folders. Okay, so M7 crime story time. I'll put it right here. Hold on. M7 crime story time. Oop, that's not right. Yep. Yep, no problem. They did a great job. And like I said, if you guys want to see some more in-depth about the Jarvis Butts case, I would suggest going over to Trial Junkies. She did a great job on that case. Vic, if you could please drop her link one more time for me, I would appreciate it. And I'm going to play this one more time, and then we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
So long for now and goodbye. We'll see